What's up, everybody? I usually do a podcast on my other channel on Tuesday nights, but tonight I will not be doing it. I've been trying to go live on this channel, and I don't know that it's quite working. But if you get a notification and hop on here, that's cool. Love to see you. I'm just trying to do different types of content over here and really talk specifically about reality transurfing. Try to break the ideas down and make them simple. I'm obviously putting some stuff that's been out again on the channel, but I'm going to be putting new stuff too. So I want to talk about the path of least resistance. That's my thing to talk about now, because really that's the whole point of reality transurfing, is to use intention as opposed to fighting against the world, to navigate your way through the space of alternatives or the options and get to your goal and with the least amount of effort required. That's the gist, right? You don't want to overexert yourself, God forbid. But nature follows the path of least resistance. All these trees behind me, the birds singing, the people walking their dog over there, they're all following the path of least resistance. It's natural. And that's really the whole idea, is to be able to take what is and leverage it for yourself in kind of a more elegant manner, a less effortful manner, I would say. And I've seen doors open up, and I've seen opportunities come about just by, I don't know if you would call it playing the waiting game, but by standing by. It's like you're moving in a current, like a river, and there's obstructions in that river. There's waves, there's rocks, there's all kinds of bends and eddies and all kinds of weird things that's happening in the water. And it's like the more you fight any of the circumstances that already are, the more you're kind of ruining your chances, or at least you're wasting a lot of energy that could otherwise be used, on the way to your goal. So it looks like this live is working, which is dope. I'm so glad. I've been trying to make a live here. And I'm just on campus with the University of Georgia. I walk around here a lot. I do a lot of walking, try to get my steps in. And you can just see a lot of really cool trees. I'm a big nerd for trees. And here on campus, we'll walk by some of these big old trees. Trees are interesting, right? They are always finding the path of least resistance as they grow toward the sun. So kind of going in a straight line, reaching out. And I've been reading this book, again, called the Kybalion, or the Kybalion. I'm working on a little synthesis of it and been working on some of the ideas in there. And it talks a lot about many of the ideas in transurfing as well, specifically pendulums, which is fascinating, in the law of rhythm. But it also talks about the path of least resistance, and it talks about how the universe is moving upward. Kind of like how it talks about in the law of one. There's a lot of overlap in that book. So the path of least resistance is going to be positive. It's still going to be active. It doesn't mean passive, right? But it's like not trying to control the situation. It's just trying to control itself in the flow of the current, instead of fighting against the flow. Going with it, seeing what opportunities and options open up, and then walking through those doors. Sometimes the door is a little bit unexpected. Maybe the way the river is flowing is a little weird whirlpool. So you're like, oh, you get kind of taken up. Like, how do I, I wasn't expecting that. But as long as you keep your head up and you continue to focus on really where you want to go, that whirlpool might swirl you in to a little eddy or right back in the current where you can see, get your bearings, see where you're going even a little bit more clearly, which is cool. It's kind of what happened to me. I was trying to do comedy and I just wanted to get booked, you know. Apparently this place needed some comedy, and I already knew how to produce, and I knew I could bring that to people and help other people with that. So I started doing that, and as a result of that, that was the door that opened up to being able for me to do comedy and also to help a lot of other people and get a real kind of cool scene going. It's not the door that I expected. I expected to get booked and just, oh, he's so funny, you gotta book him. But I didn't know what the world of comedy really was gonna entail. When you first get started in something, you're a little bit naive. But it wound up being just a gaping whole door. It was just wide open, and I was like, I'd be a fool not to walk through this door. This is amazing. And things are still playing out. I don't claim to be any sort of mover or shaker or anything, so to speak, but I have had a lot of fun, and I'm a good producer. I take a lot of pride in what I do, and I put on good shows. You know, it's lit well. Yeah, the shows are good, and it's fun, and it's so funny. I just saw a thing on maybe Facebook from a year ago or something from a show I was on, and I was just thinking how funny it was. Because I've definitely come a bit of a ways in that year, you know, even just through not even trying, through that path of least resistance, which wound up being a lot of action that needed to be taken. You know, sometimes you're flowing down that river and you're like, oh, that's where my goal is, you know, might take a little bit more. Might take a little bit more energy to get to where you're going. That's why it's not the path of no resistance, right? There is going to be some resistance. But when we stay calm and closer to the observer perspective, like it talks about in the Kabbalion, the same thing. It's crazy how many overlaps there are. You can take your awareness up into observer and away from participant. And that gives you leverage over the situation, so that now you're not affected by the swing of the mental pendulum. And so that's how transurfing divides our consciousness. The way the Kabbalion does is through the I and the me, the observer and the experiencer, the center and the mental womb. And they're synonymous, right? Like it's the same thing. But it's pretty cool to think about that me, the experiencer, that's what's close to the pendulum. The I, the observer, that is closer to the center. And what the Kabbalion says is that the closer to the center you get, the more freedom you have. And that would also concur with Vadim's work, and when he says to shift your awareness from participant to observer if you want more control over the situation. Same thing. So when we're in that river of events, right, the flow of alternates flying at us, we can choose based on what options that we have, and also judging by the flow, how things feel, what move to make. And then at that point, I think it's really important to just take as dispassionate an action as possible, or even an action that may not even be big necessarily, but an action in the direction that's kind of swift and focused and not try hard, not try hard. Back to that idea of the intention triangle that Abby talks about. It's something I think about a lot. But the actions can always be shrunken down into smaller bite-sized chunks. And I think that's the way to approach pretty much anything that you're trying to accomplish goal-wise. Some pretty birds around here. But the path of least resistance. Not no resistance, but least resistance. And this is part of an experience, something that you need to teach and learn for yourself. And I mean, we all are still developing our spidey senses, so to speak. But seeing how we feel in the flow, what feels good. And here's one thing that's really helped me out. If it's not a hell yes, then I don't have time for it. If it's a maybe, then I'm walking. And based on the book, you know, the Rustle of the Morning Stars, and the idea that if there's any inner discomfort, then that's a no, that's a clear no. So sometimes it'll save us a lot of time and a lot of energy to just cut shit out that's not gonna work if it's not something that we're just gung-ho about or for. And I think that goes with a lot of different goals or ambitions that you might have for yourself. But just some thoughts about the the flow of alternates and the path of least resistance. Super beautiful. It may be one of the most beautiful days we've had. The past couple of days have been absolutely stunning. What's up, honey? Always good to see you. And I'm just walking around a little bit before I go and hang out with some comedians over here for a little while. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to do some different types of content and stuff over here on this channel. And I will continue to do that. I won't just try. I am doing. I'm doing different content over here. Wanted to try some live stuff, particularly over here on this channel, and walk around a little bit. I'm not trying to make super long live videos or anything, but it's really cool to be ending sort of a season of things. It's been very, very busy as a spring. Still have a pretty busy week this week, but things will start to slow down. And in our town here, most of the students are gone. So there's a little more space and a little bit more peace, you know, which is nice. It's not so much hustle and bustle, but it's a cute town. I love it here. And we have a great community. I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm happy to be a part of the community here. I really appreciate you all for being subscribers. If you're watching this video, thank you so much. Connect with me. We got a Telegram chat and a Facebook group and all that kind of stuff. And I will be in touch. I'll be making some other types of content on this channel. I really am excited to be making some content again. It's been a while. I don't love the word content, but whatever. It is what it is. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.